until 1:30.
It's up there on yours. Just tell them to switch between the two.
Good afternoon, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel with a weather alert. We have a new tornado warning that has been issued for at least the next 30 minutes until, again, for areas such as East and West Feliciana, St. Helena, and Tangipahoa at this point. This is the area of concern right now, just a few miles east of the Clinton area, making its way very close to that Mississippi-Louisiana line. You can see all the lightning bolts here. Obviously, the concern is going to be some very large hail, but what they're watching is an area very closely here where it looks like it's starting to tighten up, and it looks like that cloud is starting to extend a little bit closer to the surface. That is the area of concern at this point, because there could, right now this is just a Doppler indicated warning, meaning that there is potential for rotation within the system. However, again, it looks like it is starting to extend closer to the surface. We're starting to see inflow from the back end of the storm, so meaning we're starting to see a very tight couplet with the system. Danielle, if you can switch it, can we switch it back over to Max 2? And what I want to show you here is we're kind of watching that area. Obviously, I would say it's roughly right about here. You're not seeing too much in the way of that signature right here, but this is the area of concern, more so now for St. Helena Parish, just a little bit to the northwest of the Greensburg area. Obviously, they're kind of watching a couple areas in between this main line, but as you see here, that warning is basically kind of drifting off towards the northeast at this point. If you live anywhere within this red box, now is the time to find that safe spot, because there is that pretty good potential now that we could be seeing something at the surface in that area. We've had no visible reports quite yet, but there still is that possibility there could be something on the ground. And as you notice here, a nice little pocket of hail making its way just across the border, and roughly, here's Clinton, and you see it's just a few miles towards the east. We're talking about 8, now about 10 to 12 miles down the road. If we can zoom in just a little bit closer, Danielle, you'll see some of these highways. Just give you an idea. So we're talking LA 10, just around the Coleman Town area, and then moving up towards Chipola at this point, and that's all north of the Hatchersville area. Obviously, some very intense rainfall. We've got some possible hail size. Again, we're talking up over an inch. So again, that's very large in diameter, and that can do a lot of damage. And if you haven't done so, again, find that safe spot well away from windows, especially if you live along LA 10 at this point. Let's jump back to show you where that tornado warning, just to see if we get another new signature. I do want to show you again, besides that, we got a lot of lightning out there, some very intense rainfall. We're now getting reports also of rainfall rates at possibly 2 to even 3 inches per hour. So flash flooding will be a concern heading into the afternoon hours for a lot of areas, not just even north of us. That extends well south of East and West Baton Rouge, and even further south down towards the coastline, maybe even lasting until about 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon, some of that intense rainfall, because we have to watch out for some of that banding across the area. If it starts to train, meaning it kind of marches like ants in a row, if that happens, well, we're going to start to see a lot of that rain start to pool on our roadways. A lot of areas that water will start to add up very quickly, and it'll start to rise. Now, rivers and streams should be fine at this point, but it's those areas that we are typically used to seeing where that water starts to climb very quickly. Again, once again, we are talking a tornado warning. They've dropped the Felicianas now from it, and it looks like they've included Tangipahoa, Amite, and Pike until 1:30. So as you see here, it's moving very quickly off towards northeast now at 45 miles per hour. Notice north of Kentwood, heading towards I-55 at this point. Can we go one more time back to the velocity just to see if we got any new signatures out there? Again, this is the area of concern. It still looks like it's not showing up too much on our radar system quite yet, but we're keeping an eye on it because, again, that is the area of concern. National Weather Service has some really good computers out there, and yeah, that's what we're kind of keeping an eye on. Obviously, I think they're kind of watching that couplet if it shifted a little bit further north.
Yeah.
What are you getting, Danielle? Any new information?
Not at this point.
Okay. Yeah, they got some better systems out there, so they can see a lot more the vertical structure of a system from top to bottom. And what they're seeing is it's actually the cloud line. Clouds really starting to drop and move closer towards the surface. And again, they are also getting some wind direction kind of coming in from the backside of this system. So what we're kind of looking is where it gets bright green, bright red kind of packed together, opposite of what you see here, the red and the greens. I know it looks a little bit confusing at this point, but we're kind of watching that area. And again, what the models were showing, or what some of those runs were showing that it was a little bit further north, but I still believe it might be a little bit now south. It kind of jumped a little bit, so south of Liberty, maybe even the inflow a little bit right around this area at this point. So more so now moving into southern Mississippi at this point. So if you live anywhere within this area, Kentwood, Greensburg, Liberty, and even further north all the way to the Macomb area, again, find that safe spot immediately. Chance for some very large hail out there. And once again, let's just show you a wide shot. This is going to be a rain event for the next couple hours. And as you see here, that extends all the way from Mississippi. Really, the heart of this system is up in the Midwest. Blizzard warnings. This extends all the way down to us. That's where we're seeing the severe weather. And again, that opportunity for some very heavy rainfall. If you don't have to be on the roadways, please don't do so, or please take that chance or take that break. As you notice here, again, just kind of popping. Oh, these are the rainfall rates. So. And as you see here, heavy, some very intense. We're talking maybe over 2 inches of rain per hour. So it's going to add up very quickly out there. We're going to have more updates, obviously, throughout the afternoon because this is going to be an ongoing event. It looks like hopefully this will expire around 1:30. Any new information before we leave?
Nope.
All right. Again, we're going to continue to keep you updated on social media on brproud.com. And for the very latest, obviously, again, just make sure you follow us on social media at jessegunkel.com. All right, we'll be right back.